What's up, everybody? Not fishing today. We're in a small craft advisory and I'm not going out, so I thought I'd take a chance to do a walkthrough over the boat here. I just hit 100 hours on it. Bought it a couple months ago. It's a 2024 Bulls Bay 255, so I'm gonna take a chance, go through a couple of things, how I have it set up, other than the walkthroughs you see on, like, from the dealerships, from the showroom floors. I've been fishing this boat for 100 hours, and yeah, I'll show you how everything's laid out. Let's do a lap around the boat first and see. So these are specs off of the Yamaha Outboards page. I have twin Yamaha 150s on it. So total length of the boat is 24 foot 8 inches. It's got an 8'6" beam. The dry weight is 3772. That's without engines or fuel or anything. That's just the hull. Maximum horsepower is 400. It's got a fuel capacity of 140 gallons, and the weight tested when Yamaha tested this with the twin 150s, it was 5916. So, and on the day it was tested, that included 50 gallons of fuel, 3 batteries, and 3 people on board. So that gives you an idea how much it would weigh. With a full tank and gear, you're probably looking at just over 6,000 pounds. And we'll just work from bow to stern. So first thing, up on the bow of the boat here, I have a 87-inch Minn Kota 112 pound thrust, I believe. And I have it mounted on this bracket here. I'll take it off in a second so you guys can take a look at it. It's got the quick disconnect puck on here, and that mounts straight to this plate. I think it's 3/8 aluminum steel plate. You're gonna need a bracket or a C-swivel to mount a trolling motor on the bow, because there's just not enough to get the hangover you need on the front to drop the trolling motor down. So either a C-swivel or one of these brackets is what you're gonna have to need to put on there. Yes, the front hatch does open with the trolling motor in the front, so you get about 90 degree. It does have the friction hinges in there, and pardon the mess, we don't go in here a whole lot because we use a trolling motor. Now, this is one of the downsides to this hull I've noticed. So my previous boat was a 230. The front hatch is a lot smaller on the 255. That's 300 feet of anchor line. So the anchor locker is a lot smaller on the 255 than the 230. So the trolling motor plug will be put on from the factory. I don't know if it's on all boats, but most of them I've seen has the trolling motor plug. And then this end will be in the bag. When you pick up the boat, it'll have that in there. You can mount that on your trolling motor. And this is wired through the gunnel all the way into the console for you. I got 2 cup holders on the front, and then the 2 fish boxes. Now I use these as fish boxes instead of dry storage most of the time. So these are also on friction hinges. They'll hold them up. I wouldn't trust them in windy conditions. They're if you're gonna do that, probably should put some struts on them. But I think they're both 110 quart, and they drain. The reason I use these for fish boxes is because they drain directly overboard. It's easier to keep them clean as opposed to this floor hatch here. I'll open that up in a second. But yeah, both fish boxes, they're gel coated, and they'll hold ice all day. Moving back to the floor storage here. Let's see what I got in here. Get some stuff out so you guys can get a look. So in here, I keep my cutting board, which is a 36, I think. 30-inch cutting board, and life jackets, some fenders, and then some fighting belts and stuff. This is also gel coated. I put this mat down just to protect it. It does stay dry in here. There's no issues with that, but I don't use this as a fish box because this drains down a tube through the hull, through the console, and then into the bilge. My boat, I don't know if other boats have it, but my boat doesn't have a mancerator pump. So, you know, you get all fish guts in there and everything. I keep this as dry storage. I let these ones drain overboard. Keeps it a lot cleaner. This cutting board fits in there perfectly. Also on a friction hinge. Close it down like that. When you buy this boat, it'll come with a cooler with a nice cushion on top. I actually took that cooler off. I use a Yeti 45 quart. That fits in there perfect, and it gives you a little bit more room to walk around. Moving back to, I think these are 15-degree rod holders. None of the rod holders on this boat have backing plates. I'll show you that when we go to the bilge, but they're all direct screwed through with, I think they're about 2.5-inch stainless steel screws. Moving back. T-top. On the forward side of the T-top, you got a light. This is your horn. Fiberglass T-top. Now, I put these outriggers on myself. They look a little rough. That's because I bought them off Facebook Marketplace. I cleaned them up the best I could and threw them on there. When I drilled through this T-top, it's 2 pieces of fiberglass, and then there's like a foam filler on the inside. So it makes it really lightweight. It is strong. But that's how this is built. Just if anyone's curious. So into the console here. This is the gear I keep in there all the time. It doesn't look like much, but this is all we really need. All right, I cleared out some of the trash in there so you guys can get a better look. That is right there, that tank. That's your freshwater holding tank. I think it's 10 gallons. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's 10 gallons. Now here we go. For the trolling motor questions, this is your battery compartment for the trolling motor. So I thought I could fit 3 batteries up there. I have 3 Group 26 batteries. Can't fit them. Okay. So unless you're gonna run a lithium, that battery shelf is not big enough to run one with the tank there. So I have 2 batteries there, and then 1 battery tucked underneath here. You're not going to be able to fit all 3 batteries up there with the freshwater tank unless you have a lithium. The lithium batteries are a lot smaller. All the boats come with this curtain. I added this. I put my covers for the GPS and stuff in here so they're not flopping around on the deck when we're out there. So I'm going to pull this curtain down so you guys can get a look at the wiring, because Bulls Bay, some people have talked about Bulls Bay's wiring. I'll show you what it looks like on the 255 here in a second. All right, I am in the console sitting on a bucket here, and I got that curtain pulled back so you guys can take a look. These are your 3 house batteries in here. I don't know which one's the start battery and which one's the house battery, but these are your 3 batteries. They're going to come mounted underneath the front of the aft of the console here for you. Your battery shutoffs. I've seen a couple of boats that have them mounted here. Mine's mounted here. I didn't put that there. That's just the way it was. But all the wiring is pretty clean. Fuse box is there. Everything coming up. Where is my NEMA? There's a NEMA backbone in here somewhere. Everything's pretty clean. This is the back of the units here. And then on my boat, I have the electric steering, so there's no hydraulic lines. Everything's electric. Underneath this panel on the floor, there's just the hose. There's a hose running through there from that front hatch I showed you that I used as a dry box, and the rest of it's just drains. The reason I know that is because when I put that stupid little card in the back of the Garmin, I dropped it, and it went right in there. So I got the opportunity the first day I bought the boat to take those screws off and see what's in there when I had to go find it. All right. Here's another look at that console with the curtain pulled back. And yes, it's pretty dirty in there, and the reason why. This is another thing I found with these boats that seems to be a common problem. Right here, underneath that seal, when you're hosing the boat off, I've noticed you'll get a little bit of water in it. It's this black seal. A lot of guys have been talking about it. It goes around the whole front of the console. You'll get a little bit of water in there. It drains out. I mean, I guess you can go through there with some silicone, or I've heard of some people taking it back to the dealership and they'll fix it, but that is a common thing on these boats, just keeping it honest. All right. This is why I put this little mesh thing here. This holds onto those. Moving back to the console. All right, or the helm. Above it on the T-top, you got the electronics box up here. For me, I just got a dry bag with all my important information, first aid kit, radio, and I guess some hats. So, it does stay dry in there. I haven't had any water come in, so it's yeah. Moving down, got a windshield. I'm 5'11". This is eye level, so you're looking just over the top of it. Here we go. Got your Ritchie compass. I got this just to hold my phone. I got that off Amazon. And got this little dry box in here. I don't even know what's in here. There you go, a little Dramamine. A couple cords for charging. This is a PLB. We keep this on board. We use it like an EPIRB. We don't have an EPIRB for the boat, but when I go out by myself, I'll clip this on my belt and I'll wear that inflatable life jacket just in case, because you never know, especially when I'm out there solo. This foam mat just came with the boat. I didn't put that on there. I think all of them come with that. So we got the twin Garmin 1243 XSVs. Great units. I haven't had any issues with them. My previous boat had Simrad. These are wired together with the networking cable and the NEMA, so they talk. So both of these units are the XSV model. You can get the 1243, just the 1243, which doesn't have all the capabilities, and you can just have one XSV and then one just a standard 1243, and you can get all your stuff. But if this unit goes down, if you only have the singular one, you'll lose everything. So these are both independent units. I have all my charts, I have all my numbers, I have all the capabilities on both. So if you don't have that and you want to run radar, autopilot, connect the two units together along with the Yamaha gauges, you are going to need a network expander, which if not, and you're just going to run those standard electronics or whatever, the two XSVs has enough ports to do all of it. If you're not on the water, quick tip, you want to pause your transducer. Supposedly you can burn them up. I haven't had that issue before, but I always pause them, so I've never burnt up a transducer, so I don't want to try it. This boat does have a through hole. I'll show you that when we get to the bilge. This is the controller, the remote for the trolling motor. I bought this little mount on Amazon. Hold it up here. It's nice to have it so I can do everything I gotta do from the helm here. Now, yes, I have a Minn Kota, not the Garmin. They do not talk. The Garmin and the Minn Kota do not communicate. I had the trolling motor before I bought the boat, decided to keep it, so I run everything from up here. The only thing I really use with it is the spot lock, but I do lose a lot of features. Here's all of the controls, all my switches, USB plug, and a 12 volt here. There's also a charging block up there. They all work good, haven't had any issues with them. Bluetooth stereo works good. I think there's 4 speakers on the boat, 2 of them up on the bow, and then there's 2 of them on the back of the T-top. We'll get to that here in a second, but here is the Yamaha controls. While we're waiting for that to turn on, here's the trim tabs. You don't need a whole lot of tab. I found that it's pretty solid. Let's see here. So I burned 88 gallons. This was the last 2 trips. I haven't filled up since the last 2 trips. Let's see if I can see if there's an average fuel economy. Well, I guess you can do the math there. My last 2, maybe 3 trips had a total distance of 195 miles, and I burned 88 gallons. Now, when I leave the dock, I start my motors, and they don't shut off until I'm back at the ramp. I run my engines all day long. I never shut them off when I'm out there, so that's 2, maybe 3 days of fishing. I burned 88 gallons, and I ran 195, 196 miles. So you can do your math and get your fuel economy off of that. I don't run the boat hard. I usually cruise around 34, 35 miles an hour. That seems to get the best fuel economy for me. It's usually 2 guys, myself and my father, out on the boat, and I usually fill the boat up after every trip, but apparently not after these last 2 trips. And then I got the total hours on my engines there is 100 hours. The electronic throttle control here from Yamaha. So every other boat I've ever been on has had the cable. So it took me a lot of time to figure out. This thing's very sensitive. It's a whole lot different than a cable driven one. It's really nice. It's smooth, but it is touchy. You got to get used to it. Now, when I'm running offshore, I usually put it into the single lever. It's probably not going to let me. It'll sit there and flash. The engines aren't on. But when you're in single lever, you can put this one off to the side, and you have both engines on the one lever there, which is really nice if you're just running offshore. When I'm back at the dock, I'm using both of them. Yeah, and this is just got your trim up, trim down. You can do them individually up on the front. And there's freaking leaves everywhere from the storm. Probably should have cleaned the boat before I did the video, so you guys don't have to look at a dirty boat. But it is a fishing boat, so they're not all clean. Push button start. There is no key. There's no start key block that you got to put it in. It's got a fob. It's got a key fob for the push button. So as long as it's on or near the boat, the engines will start. I've noticed a couple of consoles are different. Mine has these two cubbies. I've seen a couple other ones have like a different setup on the side, but we just kind of throw crap in here. We got some sunscreen, a couple of rags, and this one's got some gulp and some gloves, but they stay dry. No issues there. These are the standard seats that come on all the Bulls Bay 255s. It's got the drop down arms and the seat, kick down seat. They're pretty comfortable. I have no issues with them, no rips or tears. I mean, the boat's not that old. All right, moving back to the T-top. The T-top's got these courtesy lights. I wonder, probably won't be able to see them too well. They work really nice at night. But they're the nice blue color, pretty sweet. At night, when you're fishing, I mean, they look cool, but they will blind you. Like if you're trying to do something at night, they're too bright almost. They're not really practical for that. They look pretty sweet though. I got the two speakers and the spreader lights. Rod holders on the T-top here. We got the two Kingfish rod holders on the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rod holders up top, and then you got the 4 on the back of the lean post here. There's your anchor light and the antenna. Moving back, so underneath my lean post I have this tackle center my father and I put together, and it is on its last leg, but I think it can hang in there for another season until we get one built for it. But this is how I keep my boat. A lot of guys put a cooler underneath here for drinks and stuff. I keep all of my drinks in the front cooler in front of the console in that Yeti, that blue one. For the most part, all of our tackle and stuff is back here. Everything stays back here organized, and then the up front is drinks and fish boxes. So, rod holder, there's your fill up, your fuel tank fill up. It's only on the port side. Cup holder, rod holder, another pop-up cleat, handhold. But then on my port gunnel we have the gaff and our brush. Starboard side, we throw rods in here. We usually bring everything because we don't know what we're going to do half the time. We kind of just go out there and see what we can get into. Heading back up, I forgot to talk about this. Alright, this is a freshwater fill up here. This is where your fresh water is going to come, freshwater nozzle. The hose, I think it's like 8 foot long. But this is nice to have just to wash the salt water off your face or off the windscreen on the front after a day or so. But moving back, all the cleats are pop-up cleats. And another rod holder, cup holder, rod holder, and live well. So I tried to look it up. I don't know what size that live well is. If I had to guess, I'd say it's about 30 gallons. It has the plexiglass see-through on the front, aquarium glass or whatever. Get out of here. I don't know whose cat this is. This is not my cat. So going across the back of the transom here, we got 5 rod holders. These are 0 degree. These are nice for just transport. Also, if you've seen a lot of my videos, I keep my cutting board here on the corner because the freshwater hookup, I mean the raw water, is right here. and I'll hang the hose so we can do all this stuff while we're trolling off the back here and just rinse it off. Let's take a look at the space from behind the lean post. A lot of room for a 25-foot boat. This is one of the reasons we picked this boat, is because of all the space in the back. You look, this black outline, this is access to the fuel to the bilge now. This access here, normally there's a bench seat. We don't keep it on there because we don't want to get it ripped up, but there's a bench seat that flops down. You can see the arms here. We take it off and leave it off unless we're going for a boat ride. But this is the bilge. You can see both fuel water separators there. It's pretty clean here. These are the drains for the rod holders above. It does have two 1,500 gallon bilge pumps. Right here is the through hole transducer. It's an Airmar B50, I believe. So the bottom of it is gel coated. This is all gel coated in here. The top, this is not gel. It's not finished. It's not gel coated, but it is painted and everything. It's smooth. No rough edges. There is a light in here. Where is it? Oh, here. This is a light. But I mean the access is big enough. You get plenty of light in here if you do need to do maintenance. But oh, everything has brass seacocks on them, which is nice. Good hardware. What's that? Keep this boat covered all the time. When I'm not using it, it's covered. But that storm that came through, I mean, I got pine needles in the boat. I try to keep it clean, but I guess it really doesn't matter. Boarding ladder that goes into the transom, which is really nice. The recessed trim tabs. You can see it does have underwater lights. They're pretty bright. I mean, we don't use them a whole lot. We don't do a whole lot of night fishing. The neighborhood cat, you getting down? All right, nice to see you. All right, this is the other trim tab. See if I can step back and give you a shot. You can see it is a 20-degree dead rise boat. I don't know what it is, but the Yamaha 150s, you're going to get the Reliance series. And these are, there you go right there, 19, 13 and 3/4 props. I don't know, my boat came with the Magic Tilt trailer. So it's got the welded bunks. And as far as towing wise, I tow it with a F250. It tows great. You can probably tow it with a 1/2 ton fine. I think if I had to guess, towing with the weight of the boat and the trailer, you're probably looking at about 7,000 pounds. So that's a pretty, I think that'd be fine for most 1/2 ton trucks nowadays. Like I was saying before, the boat I had before this was the Onslow Bay 250-230. That was a 2020 model. I had that boat for a couple of years. That was a solid boat. We stepped up to the 255 last year. Well, I can't even say last year. We haven't even had it a year. We've had it a couple of months. We put 100 hours on it. Comparing the ride to the both of them, this boat is a lot heavier. It goes to the chop a lot better. It's a lot more boat. Even though it's 2 foot, just having the second motor and the extra weight, it's a lot more boat to have. Yeah, go check out. I have another video of me going through, I think it's Browns Inlet. I ran out of Browns Inlet that day, of just how the boat handles the inlet. I think it wasn't a super rough day, but it's a pretty typical day here in North Carolina. So it'll give you an idea on how the boat handles. It handles very well. Since it has a 20-degree dead rise, it has a fairly soft entry, but you got to set your trim tabs right. You got to get it planed out. It's still just a 25-foot boat, so it's not gonna run through anything like a 60-foot Hatteras would, you know. Never been in a situation where I need to smash the tabs down, pin the tabs all the way to, and then kind of plow through it. I mean, it handles the chop pretty well for a 25-foot boat. I mean, it's not super heavy, and with a 20-degree dead rise, it's not meant to. It kind of sits on top of the waves a lot more than coming in. It does have a fairly soft entry, but I mean, you're not going to be able to pin the throttle to the helm everywhere you want to go out in the ocean. I don't think there's a whole lot of boats in the 25. I don't think there's any 25-foot boat that you can do that. Just pin the throttle down unless, you know, good condition. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I can get out fishing next week instead of staying home and waxing the boat.